Hello everyone. Um, so this video is about the date. It is the 16th of July 2018 morning, and today I want to talk about representation. I just wanted to say, first of all, the way I'm doing this is in a similar style to Robin Black, a well-known fight analyst, where he has a subject and then has his thoughts as he goes, as he talks, putting together all the bits and pieces that make the video, the subject, understandable, thinks it out while he's talking, which I suppose how most of us do it anyway. I normally tend to walk around and talk to myself, being an only child. That's how you kind of work things out, and hearing it back makes you understand how silly or factual the things are that you're saying. Anyway, so today's about representation and how people or things can or do project who you want to project, how you want to be seen. And I thought about this the other day, where I'm thinking, if you have someone in your life and you lose that person, how does it make you feel? And what did that person say about you to other people? Did you really like them for whatever reasons you like them? Or was it because they said something about you? They reflected something that you believed that you were or are. And so it shows you, it reflects back on you, and you think, yes, that's exactly what I am. So, for example, if you have a watch, a nice watch, expensive one, a Rolex, let's say, how does that come across to other people who see that Rolex? That it's expensive, that you could afford it. How could you afford it? Well, you must have either some kind of good job, or you're in money. And what does that say about you? Well, that you're successful, that you can get whatever you want. And when people see that type of thing, they may believe that you are their ticket to something that they would like to get, that they don't have. Maybe a Seconda, or a Rolex, or a biplane, or just some peanut butter on a sandwich. Who knows what people want? So having that thing on your arm, showing it to people, whether it be in their face or just waving it around or just a glimpse, the representation that you show to other people says something about you, yourself. And whether people see it or not, I don't think it matters that much compared to how you feel about it. And it's subconscious. You don't even think about it. You think, oh, that's a nice this, or a nice that. Oh, I'll get this or I'll get that. Why would you buy a t-shirt for £30 when you can get one for £3.50 in Primark? What does that do? Yeah, it is going to be better quality. Maybe it might keep you a tiny bit warmer. I don't know if it's grease proof or toothpaste proof, but it shows something. It says, look what I can do. I can spend £30 on a t-shirt. And that's what I'm about. I can do that kind of thing. The other thing, I suppose, is again, that's, you know, the example of a watch or a t-shirt or whatever. So what do people, how can people represent you? It depends. If you hang around people who are beautiful, who are nice, who are kind, who do things for people, do things that are nice for you, again, it sometimes doesn't matter what people think about that. It is about how it reflects on you. Look what that beautiful person did for me. You know, not someone who's fugly, or, you know, someone with leprosy, someone with a tennis elbow, you know, coming to clean my dirty dishes or whatever it might be. It is that that person does something for you, and they're that kind, beautiful person. If you hang around rubbish people, you'll smell it. That's just what happens. You don't want to be around people who don't represent you, and that's when things get squirrely, things get a bit awkward within yourself. You have a thought about how you are, and say you're around people who do, you know, bad things. They throw whatever, wet cotton buds on people's windows, or cut down trees for a laugh, or things like that. If you are not someone who does that kind of thing, then it misrepresents you, and that misrepresentation, I'm guessing, has some kind of conflict. And whether you act out on it or you act a different way because of it. I don't know. I don't think I've ever felt misrepresented. Well, I suppose that's what an outsider feels like. Well, would you be an outsider if you were misrepresented? I don't know. I'm not sure. So how do we work out how people reflect on us? How do we work out what that says about us? Why do we need someone to show us about us? Why do we need someone else to? So you go, here you go. Look at this person. This shows you what I'm about. I think ultimately it's because that's what you're missing. That's not what you have, or that's not what you think that you actually are. You're filling in your own gaps. You're filling in your own bits of information that you actually think you believe, but you don't. Or you do have that. You do have that inside of you. You do have that belief that you are nice and kind and you can do things for other people, but you just don't fathom it. You don't conjure it up. It isn't something that you do, maybe. And so this is when other people get involved, and they're filling in the gaps with the things that you wanted. Maybe especially, you know, beautiful people. When you have hanging around nice looking people, again, it says something about you. It says, you know what? I hang around. A pebble mostly hangs around with pebbles. So it's most likely going to be, if you pick something up amongst pebbles, it's most likely going to be a pebble. I feel that's the way it is with people. If you hang around with people who are a certain way, then most likely the people are going to see you in that way. And that's probably why we do it. And the other thing is, do you really believe in those representations? Do you actually believe in the way that they reflect upon you? Or is that just a society thing where we think that we have to be among people, among, high standard people with the, the green, or the people that have the nice cars or nice clothes? It's a society thing. I normally tend to hang around with people who this is no reflection on people I know already, but I normally tend to try and hang around with people who are more misfortune, that's wrong, who are not showing their 100% of probably what they can be. I try and lift those people up, and that makes me, that I enjoy that, and that's probably a selfish thing. Like, look what I've done. I've managed to give this person a leg up because they weren't managing to do it themselves. Maybe it's that kind of. I'm just trying to fulfill my own. Fill my own bag with their problems or their issues or their unfortunates. What do you actually want to be? Say, for example, you do hang around with people who are nice. What do you actually want to be? Do you just want to go around being nice? Or maybe that's the easy thing about it, is that you don't have to be nice if you're hanging around with nice people. Or, you don't actually have to reflect that within yourself. It's an outside thing. Look, they're doing it for me. This is a subconscious thing, obviously. Look, they're doing it for me. I don't actually have to believe that subconsciously. I could just go along with this. This is easier than having to do whatever it is that I needed to do to try and make myself conjure something about myself. And who are you? Does it matter who I am? Does anybody know who they are? At 35 years old, from being whatever, at 35 years old, I thought I had all the answers to everything. I thought I had. I thought I could answer every question. If there was an issue, and again, I'm a solver. I try and fix things. Maybe that's something I have to work on. It's not something. I need to stop trying to solve things. I think that's what a lot of men do. And I heard something this morning where Jordan Peterson said, when whatever, your wife comes home from work and she tells you about something, she tells you about a problem, the first thing you try and do is to try and work out, well, how can we fix it? How can we solve it? How can we stop that happening again? And that's not what she wants. You're probably one of the first people that she's told, and she hasn't even formulated the problem yet for you to be able to solve anything. So that's not the way we need to do things. I lost my track of thought there. But yeah, so I'm a problem solver. I try and fix things with someone if there's an issue, and I need to stop doing that. I need to stop being able to. I need to stop trying to fix things and just understand them, better. Um, um, it's an age old thing about who you. Yeah, that's it. I remember now. So at 35 years old, I thought I had all the answers. Any issues, I would try and fix and solve, and I would know how to fix it. If someone came to me with some kind of issue, I would know how to fix that. You know, whether it be actually trying to solve it, or well, this is what you might need to do, and this is what you might need to do. Or how about you just think this way, and this will make things easier. At 35 years old, I thought I knew how to make people feel better if they had a problem, if they couldn't work something out. I knew how to solve it. And at 36, I realise that I can't even solve my own problems, because I can't even take my own advice. So who am I if I, a few months later, realise that you ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You can't you're not representing yourself. The person that who you thought was you can't even resolve your own issues. How are you supposed to be resolving other people's? How are you supposed to be, okay, raising 2 children when you can't even reconcile the thoughts that are going on in your head? How are you supposed to do that? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we never know who we are. Maybe maybe we lie to ourselves and pretend I know things to make myself feel better because things are going okay. And then when things do go tits up, maybe that's who you are. Maybe you're no one when things are going right, and maybe you're someone when you're in that hole. Maybe you are someone. Maybe you are someone when everything's going well, and then when things don't go well, that person gets broken down. Figuratively. That person gets broken down into all the sub particles of who they are, or what they've learned and stuff. And being broken down is that breakdown, is that mental breakdown, is that collapsing of everything that you thought that you stood on. And then you build yourself back up. And then you build yourself back up using, I don't know, do you use those things that got broken down? Do you pick those particles up and then, stack them on top of each other and you become the same person? No. I don't think you're ever the same person after a big upheaval in your mental capacity, in your mental state. I don't think you're ever the same person. I don't think so. I think there are aspects of that. And you can pretend to be, on the face of it again. On the face of it, you can pretend to be whatever. You see it all the time where people just carry on with their lives and they've got that dagger inside of them being twisted. They've got that anxiety through whatever it is, work or their private life. They've got that dagger twisting inside of them, bleeding and burning, and can't breathe sometimes when they're walking around, doing their normal stuff. So yeah, whether you get when you get broken down, do you build yourself up with the pieces that are left? And even if you do, you're not the same person, So whatever order those things are in, I'm guessing that you put them back together in the way that needs to be put back together after that calamity, that devastation. You know? Don't know. Is it embarrassing to want people to see you how you see yourself? So, is it something, what's the word I'm looking for? Not self-loathing. Is it self-loving? That you want people to see how you see yourself. Oh, look, this is me. This is how I am. So, this is how you should see me. Look at me. Is that an embarrassing thing? Is that something you do want people to know or people to see? I don't know. Maybe I suppose not, because that's something that you want them to see. That is the bit that you're showing off. You shouldn't really be embarrassed about showing off something, should you? Don't think so. And is it okay for people to see you as you see yourself? Is that okay? Because even though I see myself, is that really me? Or is that's the projection of me to other people? Am I just showing other people what I want them to see, but not really how I am? Don't know. I think maybe there's a soft inner bit of everybody that gets mangled sometimes, and that bit doesn't get to be seen unless, again, devastation happens, and that bit comes out, and that bit you don't really show much, I don't think, unless you're desperate, and that is the bit that's leaking out of you to other people, and that's the bit you don't want people to see, that soft bit of you where you're literally crying out for help from dead people, like your dad or your mum or whoever, God, where you're literally crying out for help from dead people. Baba, please help me. That's the soft bit that you don't show people unless it gets desperate and down and dirty, and you think, what else is there? And are you comfortable? Are you comfortable within yourself? I thought I was comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. I rested on my laurels. I thought I did what I had to do and did it, and sat on it. Didn't get better from it, or should have put an effort in to get better after that. And what about the people that do represent you? What about if they change? What about if they go through a devastation where they have to break themselves down? How do you feel then about yourself, them? How do you feel when you see a devastation, a breakdown of someone's mental capacity? Does it make you feel that you're wrong? Do do you just feel sorry for them and go, maybe they weren't the person I thought they were? Do you want them to kind of come back and be the same person? That's an interesting one. How does it work when someone that represents you has to break themselves, has been broken down, and they have to rebuild themselves up? Because when they rebuild themselves up, we've been through this, they're not the same person. They're not made out of the same, well, they're made out of the same things possibly, like we said about the particles, but maybe not in the same order. So maybe pieces of them are there, but not the whole sum. Robin Black, like I said before, is the person that I kind of want to, you just this open format thinking thing. He said, who, why, and what. And the why and the what, or what's the other one he says? He says why and how. Why and how is interesting, because he talks about a fighter where, you know, the commentators are fighting, someone throws a leg kick, you know, and then the commentators go, he threw a nice leg kick. Well, I saw the leg kick, you saw the leg kick. We don't need to say that what happened. We can see it, we can use our eyes, but why did he throw the leg kick? And how did he throw the leg kick? I think that's probably more important. I think that's probably really important, or a lesson for me to kind of use in general. Why and how. Maybe if I don't know what it is. I get angry at someone in a shop. I don't, but just imagine I did. So why did I get angry in the shop? Well, they cut me up. They, you know, stood in front of me. They didn't, whatever. Why am I angry? How was I able to be angry? Well, maybe I wasn't feeling too good that day. You know, that kind of thing. Anyway, so that's it's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Wanted to see, wanted to work things out in my head about that, and see if that is an issue that I'm using an over representation to fill in my own gaps. Yeah, maybe when you build yourself up, you see where the gaps are. Or that's a good exercise at least to do when you're doing it, to see where those gaps are, and not use that other person to fill them in and go, you know what, that's what they did for me, or this is how they made me feel, and this is this. So how do I do that? How do I do how they made me feel? You know, should I do it? Maybe I need to fill in those gaps, so I need to write them down. And again, this is my solver again. How do I get that? I don't know, maybe the gaps are alright. Maybe it's good to have the gaps. Maybe it's good to have that representation. I don't know. Maybe it's nice when someone knows where those are. That someone, I suppose that's where someone loves you for your faults more. Maybe not more, but they love you for the things that are wrong or the things that you don't like about yourself than the things that you're trying to portray. Maybe that's true love, when they love you or they enjoy your stupidity, silliness, fear. They know when you're scared. Come here, hold my hand. Let's go together. Maybe that's what that is. Maybe love is realizing someone else's faults and wanting to walk them through it. That got deep than I thought it was going to get. Thank you.